Okay, so let's get right into it. There seems to be this massive power shift happening in the media industry, and it's happening right now. The source material we're looking at argues this isn't just some small trend. No, they're calling it a full-on conquest, backed by data where a new guard is basically taking over from the old. And to kick things off, here is the central thesis from our source. I mean, it doesn't get much more dramatic than that, right? This single quote really sets the stage for the entire argument that the old, established media world is facing what they see as a total collapse. So who are the players in this whole saga? While on one side, you have what the source calls legacy media. The big guys, the film industry, the major TV networks, broadcast news. And on the other side, you've got new media, this whole universe of YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and all kinds of independent creators. That's the battleground. Okay, now let's get to the real heart of the argument. It all centers on some pretty eye-opening employment data coming straight out of California. The traditional center of the entertainment universe. So, when you make a claim that big, you've got to have some proof, right? Well, the source we're looking at puts all its weight behind one specific set of numbers that they claim tells the entire story. And here they are. So check this out. According to this data, back in 2020, new media in California already had about 222,000 jobs. By the end of last year, that number grew to 240,000. Now look at the other side. The film and TV industry, it dropped from 125,000 jobs down to 116,000. But the really shocking one, traditional media. We're talking broadcast news and the like. It was slashed by more than half, from 65,000 jobs all the way down to just 31,000. Seeing the numbers is one thing, but seeing it like this as a bar chart really puts it into perspective. That bar for new media just, wow, it completely dwarfs the others. It's not just a lead anymore, it is total dominance in terms of jobs, and it's happening right in Hollywood's backyard. So, the most important takeaway is this. It all boils down to a pretty simple but incredibly powerful ratio. In the state of California, there are now more than double the number of people working in new media than in the entire film and TV industry. That's the one stat that's driving this entire conversation. All right, so the raw numbers tell a pretty clear story, but the source also points to a bunch of other clues and cultural shifts that all seem to support this idea of a legacy industry that's really struggling. I mean, listen to this. This is how a Hollywood Reporter article, which our source cited, described what's going on in television. A slow-motion eulogy. That phrase just perfectly captures this feeling of a slow but totally inevitable fade out.
And here's a perfect example of what that decline looks like in the real world. Think about the TV pilot season. Decades ago, just one network, like an NBC or an ABC, would order maybe 10 or 12 pilots for brand new shows. Now get this. Today, that same number, 12 pilots, is roughly the total output of all the major broadcast networks combined. That is just a staggering drop in new production. And to add a little bit of cultural flavor to all this, the source shares this fantastic little anecdote. Apparently in California, it was a totally normal thing for whole movie theaters to stay and watch the credits roll. Not for some bonus scene, but because everyone was looking for the names of their friends, or their neighbors, or their cousins who worked on the film. It really speaks to how deeply that industry is woven into the culture there, and why a job shift like this feels so massive. Okay, so that's the picture of where things are right now. But the big question is, where is all this headed? Let's take a look at what the source predicts for the future of media. So the source lays out this fascinating roadmap for what's coming down the pike. We're looking at a real democratization of entertainment that's being supercharged by things like AI, which is giving individual creators more power than ever. And that also means that these jobs are spreading out all over the place, way beyond California. At the center of it all, the growing dominance of platforms like YouTube. And the final prediction? The line between them just blurs completely. And what we call new media today will just become the media, period. And to put a number on that YouTube prediction, the source claims that the platform already makes up about 13% of all the time we spend watching TV screens. And their forecast is that this slice of the pie is going to get much, much bigger, maybe hitting 20 or even 25% in just the next few years. And all of this, the job shifts, the shrinking traditions, the new technology, it all brings us to one huge fundamental question. As technology makes it easier and easier for anyone to create and distribute content, what does it even mean to be the media anymore? Definitely something to think about.